Hello, I'm John Robertson. I'm a professional editorial and commercial photographer, and I'm here today to talk to you about the S1 lights from INTERFIT Photo UK. INTERFIT Photo UK have very kindly lent me their S1 two-head kit. It's a backpack with two of the lights, and also this little brilliant little handy remote device, which comes, it's available for Canon, or in my case for Nikon. Looks pretty technical and pretty hard to use. In actual fact, nothing could be further from the truth. It's really simple to use, and I have had no failings at all whatsoever with this. It just works every time with the flash. These are a battery and mains flash. I've pretty much used it in battery most of the time, and the batteries in the flash tend to last longer than the batteries in the little transmitter. It does get through these quite a bit. Having said that, they're really easy to replace. You just open this little cover at the back, and it's two AA or AAA batteries fit inside. They're very readily available. It's not a big issue. I haven't really had any problems with it. And the same with the flash. It's very, very simple to use. It's a TTL and high-speed sync flash, so you can use it for great things like if you want to take a picture of somebody outside in the bright light, and you maybe want to show them with a defocused background like you would on a dull day, say, so you get a more out-of-focus look to it. Obviously, you can't do that on a bright day unless you've got high-speed sync, where you can sync the camera at, say, an 8,000th of a second and bring the aperture right up to, I don't know, say f2.8, f1.2, something like that, 1.4. And that way you'll get a really nice, sharp look on the person, and the background will be blurred out. It's a really great way to use high-speed sync. Obviously, it'll also work on things like, and I haven't had a chance to test this, I'm afraid. I was hoping to, ran out of time. But you can use it for sports photography. It's very useful for that. Great idea to be able to shoot people jumping about, leaping about, and freeze it mid-frame, but with a high shutter speed. The flash that I've been using in the past has been the Elinchrom EL500s, which is kind of a dinosaur of the flash world. It even has manual sliders to control the light. So this is a big leap for me. This is quite a technical light. It does a lot more than the old Elinchroms, and in a very similar sort of sized package. But the beauty of these is that they also work on the battery. And for me, that is a real godsend, not to have cables trailing around all over the place, to be able to just take it out and use it straight out of the pack. It really is brilliant. You can even take the batteries out of the unit, charge them up while you're doing the shoot on mains power, and then within 2 hours they're charged up. You can go back to battery again. So you should never really have a problem with running out of juice with these lights. That's kind of a blessing and a curse in a way, because I think one of the compromises that INTERFIT have made with these lights is that the recycle time over the battery life is the thing going on here. The recycle time, by necessity, because of the extra charge in the batteries, means that the recycle time is a little bit longer than you would be on, say, my Elinchrom. So if you're using the flash on a full power, which you don't all the time, to be fair, but if you were using it on full power, it would take a whole 3 seconds in between flashes. So that's 3 seconds recycle time. That's not great if you're doing an editorial shoot. It's not the end of the world. It hasn't really been an issue for me. Maybe I'm just a slow worker. If you turn the flash power down, then obviously it's not such a problem. You can get a lot more flashes. It comes down to something like the Elinchrom, to about 1 second recycle time. Yeah, you have an umbrella holder here at the bottom, which is just great. You can just put pretty much any light modifier you like on there. It's a Bowens front mount, so you can stick Bowens type softboxes or whatever you want, really. I've been using it with a softbox for my personal project, and I've got some really nice results with this. Another thing I would say, it's not a criticism as such, it probably says more about me really, and my laziness in using auto white balance on the Nikon camera that I use, is that the results with this flash on TTL and using the Nikon on auto white balance are a little bit warmer than I would have thought they would be to start with. It's no biggie. You can, obviously you can change the color balance after the fact, so it's not really a problem at all. Now, everything is controlled by the remote, from the remote. You can also replicate the same controls on the back of the flash. So you've got a modeling light, that is, you can do that either half power, off as it is now, half power like that, or full power, which is what I had it on before. It's a good modeling light on these. You can even use the modeling light to shoot video if you're doing it like I've done with interviews, when maybe the subject would be a little bit put off by flashes going off all the time. So all you need to do is just use this modeling light, and you get just enough light on it to light the person's face up. I don't know if you can see the effect on there. It's not going to be as good as my proper LED lights, but it's usable in an emergency, and I have used it that way. You can change your channels with this one, or again on the remote. You can change the group of the channel, whichever you need to do if you've got 2 or 3 lights. The beep, useful little feature, on or off. I always tend to keep it on, to be honest. Sometimes if you're using it in a situation where you don't want that beep going off all the time, you'll turn it off. The cell on the top here can be turned off or on. That is just basically so that it's a slave cell, so that it can be powered off other lights, or other lights, it can set off other lights, or other lights from this brand can be powered off from this. Test button, and it also tells you when the flash is charged up and ready to roll. So yeah, it's controlled by the back there, or you can even control it, everything really, from the remote, which I find a lot easier to control it from the camera. Your power setting on this one is just so easy to control. It really is easy. And you've got this brilliant handle for either carrying the unit or just swinging it around. It's pretty robust, pretty stable. I was very impressed with it. And another good thing about these lights is that they're fan cooled. You can barely hear the noise from the fan. It is so quiet, but it's really useful. My old Elinchroms didn't have that fan cooling, and sometimes they would get pretty hot. These never seem to get hot, either on battery or on mains. I've tested it on both, and they're pretty good. The other good thing about them is that you can do this. They're not heavy, so you can take them off the stand, and if you want to, maybe get an assistant or something like that to just hold the flash. Even with a modifier on, it would be very quick to use. That is it, basically. It's a self-propelled unit, if you like. Many flashes as you like, up to about 300. Away you go. These are great units. They're a lot cheaper than Profoto. Probably about half the price, but they do the same thing. There's Photix, Godox, but I think the question I would ask myself with these, with a brilliant built-in battery, and all the other features like very easy to use remote and TTL, is would I buy these myself? Well, let me put it this way. I don't really want to hand these back.